family and content don't mix. Famous old men need to be taught about the pitfalls of young bucks.
No, when I'm talking, you're not talking.
No one should be able to family vlog. But what we need as a society is a Ruby Franke prison vlog. Morning, folks. Welcome to the Joey Show. I'm Joey Avery. Boy, do we have a very special, fantastic, and exciting show for you today. A lot's going on in the world. Have you been paying attention? Do you still want to pay attention? That you don't have to. You come here and I do it for you. Yes, we have the whole story this week with Trump sending alleged Venezuelan gang members to El Salvador. Will we dive into El Salvador? Will we crack this bitch open like a pupusa? Yeah, we will do that. But honestly, I want to talk about a much more potentially, all right, this might not be a constitutional crisis, but I would say it is a confirmed human rights violation, and that is absolutely disturbing footage coming out of Hollywood this week from the red carpet where we see Hilaria Baldwin talking to her husband, Alec, like this.
You're a winner.
Oh my God, when I'm talking, you're not talking.
Sorry.
No, when I'm talking, you're not talking. This is why, yes, we'll have to just cut him out of the show. No.
Disgusting. Absolutely horrible, dangerous, horrifying footage. Look, folks, I usually don't start the show off by diving into a long clip, but I want to go through this entire interaction between Alec and Hilaria on the red carpet here because this, folks, this is some purely disturbing stuff. You can watch. I'm not big. I'm not a huge celebrity gossip guy. I'm not, but I will say that this to me is a speed run of what every bad relationship can look like. We will get into it right now.
Kids are trying to go to bed. This was an earlier night. I know it was.
Starts off
I
fine.
had to sneak out.
When I say to them, I go, "Mommy has to go to work," and they're like, "Oh, okay."
No, then the baby wanted to come too. She's like, "I come too."
Small disagreement.
Have to
Nothing
bring them back.
crazy
The
there.
desserts upstairs are amazing. Do they have sweet tooth?
Yes, and so do we.
No, they actually, because of her, they eat very healthy. But when dessert time comes, you better show up.
It's a mix.
They want good desserts.
Let's pause right there on good desserts. Now, folks, the reason that Alec and Hilaria are here on the red carpet, well, I don't know what sort of carpet this is, but they're somewhere for Planet Hollywood. And the reason they're there is because they have launched a reality show. This is another piece of culturally relevant, important content that the American people have been clamoring for ever since he capped a woman in the face. I think honestly, this might be how they get the money. Now, we're going to break all this down. This is not usually a gossip program, but this is important because this is about us as humans, as men and women, as people who can get ourselves into situations that are disgusting. Now, Alec and Hilaria here, what they're doing is they're doing this, to me, I would consider this classic reality show red carpet fare. We're on Extra. What do they want? The stars. They're just like us. Don't your kids have a sweet tooth? Oh, when it's dessert time, watch out for those youngins. Watch out for those youngins. You give him one lick of a lollipop, he's a piggy and shit. And they're doing a little back and forth. They're trying to ooh, it's a slice of life. It's a little, hey, come peek behind the curtain. Look at our life. We're normal. We're fun. You're not normal. You're not fun. I'm fun. I'm wearing look at me. I'm wearing a jumpsuit and a bucket hat. I'm fun. Okay, I'm plenty of fun. And you know what? I'm not going to sit here and talk about, boy, I got to be honest. Every once in a while, I'm feeling naughty and I have a treat. It is true, though. Sometimes I am feeling naughty, and sometimes I do have a treat. And I'm not allowed to have as many treats as I used to because I've been talking to the computer about my protein intake, and it's not enough. We'll talk about that later. ChatGPT, is it a good nutritionist? Yeah. Okay, so here's the deal. That you can start to see some cracks. You can start to see some fissures forming between them. Now, I think it's important to view this video through a very obvious lens. You might not be deep in Alec and Hilaria Baldwin lore. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little bit of background. Yes, has she been caught speaking in a full-on Spanish accent and claiming that she is from Spain when that's not the case? Yes, that is true. We will get into that. The main important and obvious thing here is that she wants fame. He can give that to her, but now he's an old man, okay? And so she wants the fame for herself. She's getting sick of him. She's getting tired. He's starting to realize that as this entire reality show becomes about her, and now there's troubles in paradise. And is it paradise when they have like 8 kids and 9 dogs? I don't know about that. But she caught a wild man, she trapped him, and here we are. Let's continue.
Very spoiled. They're New Yorkers. They want good desserts. You have kids? We don't.
Ask her.
But you two do a beautiful, you two do a beautiful job raising your family. You guys are hosting tonight. Why was it important for you guys to come out and celebrate this grand opening?
I mean, it's such an iconic New York place, and I mean, to come up
Planet
here.
Hollywood.
The last one to open, how old were you? 6? You were 6 years old.
Now
when
we're
the first
hitting
Planet
that
Hollywood opened.
I was.
I was
age
here for the opening of
discrepancy.
the first Planet Hollywood. Yeah. Yes. Well,
She
back
cringed at
then
that.
when they did that, it was kind of new. House of Blues and all those celebrity-themed things, and Bruce and Arnold were all a big part of the first Planet Hollywood, and it was a very big deal. They had openings here.
A
with
life
Bruce
that has
and
passed
that
him
whole
by.
crowd, and they were like
He's
huge
wistful. He should
events.
enjoy this life.
And then the
She's
place was
disgusted.
open for a long time. House of Blues too. Danny Aykroyd and that crowd, and they were very, very famous restaurant music clubs. Played a lot of music, and but now they went down. They closed, and they're reopening. And Robert Earl, who was the original founder,
He's doing the old man thing
guy
where
that-
he's
that
talking a
started
bit.
it,
But
is back here starting
you married
it again.
an older man.
So good for him.
And that's the History Channel.
Oh.
But it is an iconic brand, like you mentioned
Oh,
it.
he's
What do you guys have
getting
in store
mad.
for us today?
We'll see. I think we're just gonna have fun and
Where?
Here.
Here?
Here. We're gonna have fun and
Apparently
hang out.
we're
I
gonna
mean,
eat
do you
dessert.
see how big this? Like, it's incredible how many people have shown up, and it just shows you. I mean, what
I'm
an
getting
iconic
mad
place.
watching this.
I mean, you've spent your career in Hollywood, but I have to know, because we are loving the show, by the way. We're loving getting to know your
That
family.
can't be true.
Is it harder to memorize scripts or be yourself on unscripted television?
Yourself. Oh, it's so hard. It's so hard. Yeah. Well, it's a good question. I think it's because you don't want it to be dull, and just if you showed the way our life really is, you get it after like an hour. It's like it's the same thing a lot. I mean, not just the two of us in our life, but with the kids. We like routine. It's good for the kids to have a routine. I mean, she, as a mother, is very good at keeping them on a routine.
She is absolutely fuming right now. She is looking at him like, what the fuck are you doing? Are you giving away the entire promise of reality TV? And Alec Baldwin's going, hey, listen, I've been in real shit. I'm an actor. You think that reality TV is you think our lives are no one's lives are that interesting. No one wants to film you waking up and taking a morning shit. Maybe. That's more vlogging, honestly.
But so you kind of feel the desire to make it more silly than it might be.
I have to say that I don't think you make it more silly than it is. I actually feel.
I didn't get that on the show.
No, we
failed.
just cut all that part out.
Cut me out.
Cut you out. When you're trying to make it silly, we cut it out. No, I mean, I think that every day, because we like routine, and I think anybody who's a parent knows that like routine is king, or in queen, routine is key. We'll just say king and queen at the same time.
essential.
It's essential. It's essential. But I think that us trying to every
What's the
day.
word for essential in Spanish?
He's doing some shit right here. He knows her history, okay? What's the word for it in Spanish? Come on, what's essential? Come on, give it to me, Hilaria.
Esencial.
There
Okay.
you go.
Didn't let me down.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Oh my
fighting.
God, you're distracting me right now.
Sorry.
Like now you're just doing that. Why? Why are you distracting me?
I'm just captivated
yeah,
by your
you're just,
beauty.
yeah, you're just distracting me.
so
No, but
beautiful.
oh my God, stop! You're annoying me. Stop! It's not cute. No, he's distracting me. So I'm gonna like walk out of this interview. Brian.
I need the motherhood notes. You are doing an amazing.
No, okay, go back. Let me go back. It's all about routine. It's all about routine. And every day we strive to be boring, and then
He's
like,
left
unboring
the
things
interview,
happen to us,
folks.
as they do with seven
He's
children.
trying to. Can I talk to
Children.
someone
I mean, You
else?
guys are raising a big family. You come from a big family, and you talk about how it kind of reminds you of that. What does it bring back for you?
Let me tell you what, for me, what my life is like now. Seriously, I have a home.
He's trying to bring
I
it
have a
back.
home.
Let's
And when I'm not
maybe
home,
let's
I'm
try
like
and
a
get it to
home.
work.
I just
I
went
love
to Florida
home.
for overnight for an event in Palm Beach. I flew down there yesterday, came back today. Even when I'm away from them for a day, and you believe me when I say this, she loves when I go away.
The look to her, the camera right there. Okay, the amount of hate in this relationship is genuinely remarkable. It's actually impressive to me how you can hate one another this much and then be stuck together. And the answer is, of course, 7 kids and the birth of an important reality show. But they are stuck together. I mean, they both want to run for the hills, but in either case, they're like, what am I going to do all that? This is brutal, brutal stuff. And what better thing to bring in to a struggling relationship than the public eye? Let's add a television show to that. That's what we need. We need to make sure that we are now working on a public image project that is going to pull at each other's strings. And now he's realizing, this is the worst thing I've ever been in my life. And she's like, this is my moment. I have my show. I am Hollywood. That's why I'm here. That's why I've been sucking this old cock for all these years. Don't screw up the interview talking about old Hollywood. Dan Aykroyd, who gives a fuck? Okay, now I don't agree with that. Shout out to Dan Aykroyd. Shout out to Dan. But this is just brutal. Like, Alec, what have you done to yourself? This is the perils. The perils of young bucks, that male celebrities. There needs to be a course, a master class, some sort of the way that we are now teaching young athletes about the pitfalls of financial literacy. Famous old men need to be taught about the pitfalls of young bucks. How do you got to stay away from this, Alec? Because guess what's going to happen? You're going to get older. She's going to hate you. She wants to be a star, and she sucked in the first place, but you were blind to it.
Wow. But I have a home. 7 kids. We have all these animals, and we have a house outside the city that's very pretty, and our life is good. But I never had a home on this level, this way. So many people that I love.
Nice.
I'm always
He
sad
means
to leave
that.
home, and I'm always happy to come home. Always.
And you guys have a beautiful life, a beautiful home. All right, we want more of this. Season 2, do we know anything?
The Hilaria show.
No,
there
I
it
think
is.
we're gonna see.
That's what it is.
We're gonna see how it feels to have it be out there.
It's gonna be great.
This
You're a
season-
winner.
Oh my God! When I'm talking, you're not talking.
Sorry.
No, when I'm talking, you're not talking. This is why. Yes, we'll have to just cut him out of the show. No, no. I mean, I think this is a really raw show, and it's very.
He is
real,
now
and we took a
leaving
lot
the
of chances.
conversation
And, I
to
think
talk
that
to someone else
we'll see where it
also
leads us.
on
We'll
camera.
see.
I'm not going to lie. The death of that woman on set is Hilaria's fault. There is you see that, and you wonder why he shot a random woman in the face. All due respect. Obviously, I know it's a tragic situation. Come on. He's a hurt and battered man. Okay? Yeah, he's been going through stress with this whole investigation, and he gets taunted by people and the whole Trump. Yeah. And then he goes home to this. The amount of stress that this man is under. Okay, he is emotionally abused. I'm gonna say that. And I realize there are more extreme examples of that. Obviously, of course. Okay, I think in most cases it is, in so many cases it is the man to the woman, and that is so much worse. And there are people who cover that and who focus on that and who set up foundations for that and who help that. But I, here at the Joey Show, am here to set up a new foundation. The Hilaria Baldwin Foundation for Battered Men. Emotionally battered men, but battered men nonetheless. She is abusing this man. I watched him die on Extra. On Extra. Alec Baldwin has been in some real films, some actual cinema. He has done fantastic, important, well-known works to the American cultural ecosystem. And I am watching him get his balls lopped off and thrown into a fake Spanish bag on Extra over a reality show. I don't know what to say about that. That is depressing levels of Trapped. This is a horrible woman. I'm going to be completely honest. Now, I will say, I want to be fair to her on one thing. A lot of the controversy surrounding her early on has been her fake Spanish accent. If you don't recall, she has pretended to forget words in English. I'll give you a little taste of that in case you're not up on all this hot celeb goss. This is her in her reality show explaining to her kids that it's just code switching. It's the way that you, of course, speak to an old person. Here we go.
Like people who, if you ever talk to like a really old person who cannot hear, and you have to like you notice you're like, I'm gonna emphasize, I'm gonna speak slower, and you're not even really thinking about it. You just start to do it. You know what it's called? Code switching. I had to learn about it because the whole world was like mean to me.
As far as how the backlash all started.
How's married life?
Married life is really nice.
You know, it feels different.
We have very few ingredients. We have tomatoes. We have, how do you say it? Cucumbers.
Maybe they'll put us next to each other. We can pass notes. My husband hates onions.
How you say in English?
Yeah, over the years, Hilaria's flipped between accents, saying it was because of her Spanish heritage. But Hilaria, birth name Hillary Lynn Hayward Thomas, doesn't have Spanish roots. Her family just spent a lot of time in Spain over the years, her parents eventually moving there.
All right, so there it is. You know, people don't love that when a white girl from Boston says, how you say in English? A cucumber. I no say. How you say? I don't know. Am I doing Italian? Mamma mia. How you say in English? A cucumber. Look, I have been to Spain, and I understand the concept of just being like, now she did grow up speaking Spanish in the household. Her dad was I believe a professor of Spanish literature at Harvard. So I do believe she grew up speaking. It's not like she's bad at speaking Spanish, how you say in English. But people don't love when you make it your entire personality and you talk about growing up in Spain, and then people find out you aren't from Spain, and you even had Alec Baldwin telling people in the public that you're from Spain, and none of that's true. Your parents moved to Spain very recently before you met Alec Baldwin, and so clearly you were using this as a sort of a little extra flavor, which, again, I've been to Spain. I get it. I understand Hilaria on this you wake up, you have breakfast, you're eating pan con tomate, and you're like, maybe I am this. Maybe this is who I want to be. She has a piece of jamón ibérico, and she's like, you know what? Fuck clam chowder. Fuck clam chowder. And look, you're not gonna bag Alec Baldwin with a Boston accent. That's fine. Okay, you're not going to be like, oh, what you doing up there, kid? You going to Peabody? Let me suck your dick, kid. Hey, kid, let me suck your cock. Going up there to Peabody, hanging drink. I only know how to say a few words in it. Going out there, go Sox. Let me suck your cock. What if I cradled your balls while I sucked your cock, kid? Come on. What, are you going to come for mommy or what? Come on, fine. Come on my back, fine. That's not the same. It's not the same. Like, I get it. It was a good strat. They're all good strategies, and they've led her to the right point in her life. She wants a lifestyle brand. She started like a yoga thing. What better job for a white woman who wants to pretend to be more cultured than to start a series of yoga studios. She's living her truth. I'm just allowed to hate her as well because I'm watching her neuter chop the dong off this man and feed it to one of their 9 dogs that he didn't even want. I saw a story that he basically like got allergic to a cat, and then he came home the next day and she had bought cats. Like, this is the type of shit that she's doing. She is a demon, okay? She's an honest to God demon, but she has done everything right to get her into the right scenario. Like, she's a horrible person, but she's executed. And for that, we have to say, gracias, Hilaria. So that's where she has come from. That's where they are at now. Now, it's obvious that the end game of all this was to have a reality show and make the show ultimately about her. She is now looking at Alec and seeing him as something that's kind of like discardable. And he is realizing what's happened. And I didn't know any of this until I watched that 7-minute clip on the fucking brown carpet for Extra. Okay, I saw it all in that. That was a piece of cinema that I watched this week, and I said, oh my God, he's dead. Mother of God, Alec. We need to get him into the shelter, which we will name after his beautiful Spanish wife, who also completely goes full white when she wants to, but then goes, how you say it? Here's a little clip from the show. I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to watch the show. I'm not going to put myself through that. I like putting myself through pain for you guys, for the 12 and Hunty B. Shout out to Hunter. Hunter Biden has not liked a clip from this show in a long time. Hunter! I'll shoot him a DM. Might have to hit him from Maine. Hey, Hunty, do you want to come on the pod? I will do that, actually. I will hit up Hunter and see if he'll come on the pod. The Bidens have a bit more breathing room now, do they not? What are they up to? Joe Biden has become a scoop of ice cream at this point. He's just sitting in Delaware going, Rocky, Rocky Road, chocolate, chocolate chip. What are you thinking, man? Come on, man. What are you doing to that man, Alec? You look at Alec Baldwin, you go, come on, Jack. You got to get back up on the thing, on the horse, on the buggy, on the horse and buggy. You got to get back up on it. I don't care if your wife's a Mexican. Mexicans have rights too. You can't just get rid of them. You need Mexicans. Who's going to do the cooking and cleaning? And then the Democrats are like, don't say that. Don't say that. Here's a clip from the show, which I will not watch.
Go ahead.
So, yes, I agree that that's your reality of it. But what I used to do is I would say yes, and then I would do whatever I wanted, and I would just keep it from you.
You gaslight me.
No.
After my first marriage, I said, let's have a prenup.
I want
She
to
wasn't
think
happy
about
about
it. No. First of all, I still
it's an
don't
awkward
understand
thing.
quite what it is awkward, but I don't actually quite understand what a prenup is because you're like,
you
after
don't.
a certain number of kids, it's this. And after,
She's
and I was
playing
like,
dumb.
You know what? I'll just sign it, which was probably very stupid of me back then. Now I would read it again. But like, I just said I would sign it. I don't really want to think about the end by the beginning. And then you're like, yeah, I don't want to do it.
Let's talk slower. You're speaking English in a Spanish cadence, which is always perilous for me. Slow down just a kiss. I can't understand you.
And there it is, folks. I mean, that is 46 seconds of content, and I could write a master's thesis on it. That is but maybe a PhD, I'm going to be honest with you. I could spend all time dissecting this relationship because that is an action-packed clip. First off, she is saying, I don't understand what a prenup is. We know that's a lie. Okay, at the beginning, he mentions that she was gaslighting him. She says, no, she wasn't. Then she pretends what a prenup is. It's already happened. It literally just happened. Okay, now that we're 15 seconds into that. We move on in the clip to her very forcefully noting what a mistake it was to sign the prenup. Okay, this is clearly, obviously, the reason that we are still together in this moment, because it's not love. Okay, it's maybe the children, probably not the animals, but a lot of it is the prenup. And you can tell she's upset because she would like to Giselle this motherfucker, okay, and go fuck the karate coach down the street and start a whole extra brand of yoga studios. But the reason she won't do that right now is because Alec actually has heat. There's some intrigue in this reality show because of what he's been up to. Rest in peace to the lady. Now, we realize that's why they're together, and then she goes on speaking, and he hits her with the "you're speaking English in a Spanish cadence," which is always perilous for me. Now, I think what is obvious is Alec was actually in the dark about some of her roots, and he feels like an idiot. So every chance he gets to throw a little something in, to just throw a little barb, to throw a little wink and a nod to the rest of us going, "Are you okay?" Is to acknowledge that she fucked him on this Spanish thing too. Now, I will say, at this point, I have spent most of this show dedicated to proving a dissertation of what a horrible person is, although giving ground on the concept that I too would love to be from Spain, and if I was a hot chick, I might display similarly troubling characteristics. We don't know. We don't know how we would live in someone else's zapatos. We have no idea. I would not know how to dance a mile of salsa in her shoes. I don't know. If I was a hot girl whose parents had moved to Spain and I was getting attention from a major actor, I might be doing all of these same exact horrible things, because sometimes you realize you have different advantages in life. Now, I can't walk around with a big hot box to just use to deceive people, okay? I have to use different methods. I weight train, and I talk to ChatGPT about how much protein I should eat, and I try to be nice, and sometimes I'm fun and funny. These are kind of my thing. I'm not trying to deceive, but maybe I would, and maybe I would be great at it. Maybe I'd be especially good. Maybe I'd be fantastic. I don't know. So I realize I've been pretty hard on her. I would like to add this. I'm pretty sure from all available information, Alec Baldwin is also a piece of shit. I think that's true. I haven't done as much research because it's right now I can only see him as a sympathetic figure. He looks hurt. He looks broken. Okay, he looks troubled, and she's a bad gal. It's a bad gal, them. Okay, so to be fair, it could just be two bad people in a bad thing, and that's okay, and that's fine. And that is exactly who deserves a reality show. Now, the other big story going on in the world right now is more in the political realm, is a little bit less fun, and that is Trump versus United States judges as pertains to his extraordinary new methods of deporting illegal immigrants. Now, I think a lot of people are concerned because he might be flouting due process. He has flown immigrants who he is claiming are members of the Venezuelan Tren de Aragua gang to a notoriously brutal and sometimes used for, some people say slave labor, like a very tough, notorious prison in El Salvador, CISOT, I believe. And people are worried that without due process, without the ability for people to check who these people are, the Trump administration could just be saying they're in a gang and not proving it. They could just be people who have tattoos. They could be American citizens who were unfortunately caught up in this. And I would say I am fully willing to support the Trump administration's move on this as long as they swoop up Hilaria Baldwin. Now, look, I am just saying that she displays a lot of tendencies that, to me, look like that of a Venezuelan gang member. She says, how you say in English, cucumber. That's number one. That's one of the main ones. She might have tattoos. They got, look, I'm not going to say, look, it's a cultural thing, but I don't know. How many people live in that house? 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 12 cats. I'm just saying. So, look, I don't agree that everyone who's Hispanic should be deported. I think that's bad, and I'm completely against that 100%. But I just think if we're casting a wide net, I have a lead. That's all I would say. And that lead is coming after the job of a great American. A great American. He is a great American, okay? And now his only job in entertainment is she's about to cut him out of his own reality show. It's about to become the Hilaria Baldwin show. I'm sorry. That's taking a great American job. So I know Trump doesn't love Alec Baldwin. I know that. I'm just saying it's a thought. We do have to talk about this in serio a little bit. It's pretty remarkable what is happening on the immigration front, and there are very differing perspectives on it, as you might be able to assume, given that it is America in this year. Let's watch one of the craziest things about it to me is the hype clip. So Trump, goes on and he deports a bunch of, again, he is claiming that they are members of a Venezuelan gang. Look, to the extent that that is true, I, of course, believe in deporting gang members who have come to the country illegally. That's not hard for me to say, and I hope that those people are expelled from the country quickly for the safety of everyone involved. I don't have full faith that the Trump administration does things, I would say, with a lot of attention to detail. And my concern is that with no checks or balances on how any of it's done, they could just see a brown person with a tattoo and then fuck them off to this notoriously brutal jail. I don't love that. And then a judge told them not to do it, and it's a little gray area but they said fuck off. People on the left are saying that and this is true, he mobilized an Alien Enemies Act that hasn't been used. I believe last time it was to detain American citizens, Japanese American citizens, during the Second World War, which I think we've decided not such a good idea. He's using this wartime act, not during war, and then when a judge says don't do that, he's basically saying fuck off. All those things are a little scary if you do believe in the whole like civil liberties thing that our country is founded on that shouldn't be a red or blue issue. That's my opinion. That's how I feel about it. Now, to the extent that any of these people were gang members, get them the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Okay, let's watch this though. This is what is intriguing to me. The hype clip, because if you're deporting people and sending them to a notoriously brutal prison in El Salvador, that's one thing. But then to drop like a rap music video about it is fascinating. Let's begin here. We've got, if you're just listening, we've got airplanes. We're seeing soldiers. They're coming in. The camera switching is very fast. We are moving. Now we got the police trucks moving in. We're back. Overhead drone footage. We've got multiple drones. Now we have a gang member. They have them in all white. It's very staged. It is like a Lady Gaga Super Bowl halftime show sort of thing. And the music is, we'll listen to that a little bit. It's like prison core hip hop, I guess you would say. Ominous. They're showing a tattoo. Another guy coming down. They have, like special forces level military. They like the guys hunched over. And you see this a lot from this El Salvadorian prison. I've actually watched a lot of content out of this prison. One of my, just a prison content creator that I watch. They're big on the hype video out there. They make the prisoners hunch over and kind of Naruto run, which is an interesting move. And I was just shocked to see the jail buses, the silver kind of really stripped down minimalist jail. Like the whole thing is like, it makes me wonder, was someone from Hollywood working on this? Because all of the set design is perfect. The prison buses are great. The music is correct. They're showing the lights. Now we have an overhead. This is probably shot from a helicopter, okay? And now we are heading into the jail, and you can see the large jail. and they're processing the prisoners, the overhead of the jail. I've actually seen this shot before. They love this shot. They know what they're doing. Now they're showing the buses. It's like a hype. It's like when Clemson's football team drives their bus around to the Rock to run down, and now they're going to, make the guys hunch over, walk, and they're going to shave their heads. So I'm going to pause it here. Here's where I'm split on this, because again, I do believe that we need to pay attention to civil liberties, understand how we conduct ourselves as a country, not let Trump indulge all of his most authoritarian impulses, because I do think he is willing to take them to the absolute max, and I don't think that's good. That's on the con side. On the pro side, I do love a good hype film. I just do. I'm a sucker for a nice hype film content. I mean, I like, more than watching a football game, I like the video of the football team before they run out of the tunnel, right? And so whoever produced this did a good job, and that's a credit where credit is due moment. Now, one of the arguments surrounding all this is that they're not going to be able to deport people in mass scale, so this is basically a tactic used to discourage people to come into the country. And in fairness, you would have to say that has been correct by making it look like we are not a door open to all immigrants. The illegal border crossings have completely shriveled up, and it is just from a deterrent policy, and that has been effective. And so on the one hand, that's great. On the other hand, maybe let's not take it all the way to disintegrating constitutional rights and the way that we completely rule as a country, because I do think it is a slippery slope. Okay, that I didn't have a lot of fun with that one after we covered the fact that I do want Hilaria to be involved, but that's what it is. The interesting thing is Trump is working with this guy Bukele in El Salvador, who's incredibly popular there. He's insanely popular. He has wild approval ratings, and why wouldn't he? He took the country from being the worst murder rate, crime rate, completely run over by gangs, insane amounts of people killed, to a massive drop with this entire deterrent policy. What he did is he declared a state of emergency that allowed him to suspend basically all civil liberties, like private communication, the right to know why you're being arrested, all these things, and he continues extending that 90-day period over and over and over again. So they basically have had no civil liberties, but they've been able to clean up an insane crime problem. And so in the country, he is very popular, unless, of course, your son or daughter actually got mistakenly swept up in this, and now they're in prison and you can't find them, reach them, anything. And that's kind of this, that's how the world works. And this is this dichotomy that, unfortunately, you have to worry about a little bit with Trump, because let's say he's single-minded in his approach to get things done, and he does not really give a fuck about laws or courts or anything. He sees that all as a bit boring, a bit in the way, and anyone who's paid taxes understands that a little bit, but I'm pretty sure it's a dangerous place for the country to be. That would be my only concern. Just throwing that out there, just thinking about it. I mean, this is a guy who, and shout out to Trump, he won his golf championship again. He keeps winning the golf championship at his club. Good for him, even at his age, just still winning every golf championship, but only the ones at his club. And the last time he competed publicly in a golf championship, I believe he got 63rd out of 72. So, hey, just interesting. And for people who believe he's actually winning those, good luck. I've got a cock for you to suck in Brooklyn. Joke about the old Brooklyn Bridge. Well, folks, that's, fun political stuff there for everybody. We are entering into some interesting times. I think it's good to pay attention to all of them. And of course, it'll be easier to pay attention as long as there's a hype video. I was looking into Bukele's background. Not surprised to see he started off running an ad agency. Started off running an ad agency for politicians, then realized, oh shit, I kind of know how to do this. and then became a mayor and now a very popular but in some ways controversial president. Now, you might not know this by looking at me, but I've been to El Salvador. Was not didn't head to the prison there. I did go to the airport. Had a little layover there. Had a pupusa. Love the pupusa. Shout out to the fine people of El Salvador for inventing that. That's the national dish. It's like a cornmeal thing with a little cheese. Throw a little meat in there. Get a little loose. Throw some pickled onions on that bitch. Very, very good. Maybe not the healthiest thing to eat, but that's okay. That's okay. I'll ask the computer about it. I mentioned this. I just started like a day ago, just consulting with ChatGPT about nutrition. Hey, trying to be fucking jacked. How do I like have the perfect body? I like went to the computer. I was like, hey, so looking to be 6'4" with a 9-inch cock, 8.5 abs, huge biceps, no waistline, and a dumpy. I just drew that out of my mind. I think I need to bring back the waistline because the figure that I've just drawn is like kind of like a Mr. Incredible sort of figure, which I don't think is what we want. So we're gonna phase the waistline back in. Otherwise, I'm going to want to give myself back shots. That's not what we want. But it's been interesting because I've been kind of, I've not been huge on using AI. In fact, I released my most recent tour calendar without the use of AI. I said, I'm going to do the art myself, and I'll show you it here. And if you're just listening, it is a stick figure with my dates. But I didn't use AI for it. But I did figure, you know what? AI for nutrition seems like an issue. I've never worked with a nutritionist in my life, dude. Just born this way. But I was like, I'm kind of curious. That seems like something it would be good at because you go online and there's all this information. And usually when you look up anything that's recipe or nutrition or food related, it starts with a 95-paragraph soliloquy about that person's own experience. Nutrition is great. As someone who grew up in eastern Georgia eating huckleberry nuts off my parents' farm, I've always been someone interested in healthy fats. Shut up. You're an unhealthy fat. So I thought this is a great way. It distills kind of all the information that's online, but instead of me looking for it, I can just ask, hey, this is what I'm doing. Hey, this is what I've eaten. I didn't realize how much fucking protein you're supposed to eat. Okay, I thought I was pretty like high, I tried. I know I'm not out here eating fucking cake and frosting for breakfast. Like I'm not. In fact, a lot of times I skip breakfast. I promise I'm not just going to talk about my own nutrition for an hour and a half. But I didn't realize you're supposed to eat like hundreds of grams of protein. All of a sudden, I'm like wondering, am I supposed to wake up early and boof an egg? Should I be racking up lines of whey protein and snorting them? How do you fit all that in your system without being full and shitting constantly? These are questions. So I'll let you know what I figure out, but I've been talking to the computer. It's nice. I understand why people keep trying to fuck it. Computer's like, hey, man, you're doing great today. I'm like, who, me? Just because I had some eggs with some egg whites? Who, me? You think I'm doing great? Typing at me with fun emojis. You could have some black coffee this morning. Yeah, maybe I will. What color are you, computer? I keep seeing these articles. There's like every publication is going to have one of these articles. I think we already talked about one from the Atlantic. I got another one this week, and it's just like everyone is like going through this like what if men stop fucking women concept. Let me pull up the one from this week. I forget which publication it was. Yeah, here it is. The Atlantic again. I think we read a different one. I think our other one was from Wired about people falling in love with AI, but here we have the Atlantic talking about sex without women. What happens when men prefer porn? Well, I don't know, Caitlin Flanagan. They might not end up with a reality show with a fake Spaniard who's stealing their ever-loving will to fucking live. That's one possibility. Look, I think, honestly, I don't think we need to worry about this. If you're so far gone that you're like, yeah, I'm just more efficient when I just like crank and I just fucking, just kneel over the toilet and I just spray cum into it in the morning, and then I get on my day and I'm optimized and I work. And it's like those people were probably going to end up being those people. You lose people on the margins. You're going to lose the marginal people, okay? The person who is like, maybe I could just live with watching porn and falling in love with a sex robot and just doing my life, and I don't want to deal with, like, you might lose that. But was that person someone who would have been good at being married? Is that person that was like really close to being in a happy, healthy, loving relationship? I don't know. That article did make some good points, and we've talked about these points a lot on this program, that like a lot of what happens in the technological era is the simulation of reality, and it gets commodified and served back to you as an approximation of what that reality is, and then you're supposed to like kind of enjoy it while also paying for it, and then wondering why you're sad when you've been living in a series of simulations about real life that are not real life, and they don't give you a real tactile experience. And that's why we say go the fuck outside, go outside, or you will lose your mind. Okay, and we say that immediately after the culmination of this program. Please like and subscribe. We know that's all true. I think that people are going to get so fed up with all of this that this will be obvious. I don't think we're going to head steadily further and further and further into a world where nobody is connected. I know that's the fear, but I think that there's an innate, like, human need for the reality that will jolt us back into it from time to time. You'll go, oh God, isn't it nice? I'm fucking back. And people will reject it. Or a group of us will get so crazy, so far gone, that there will be a second like hippie revolution of people, of a generation that will just, and this might happen. Like, my career might be completely ruined because a generation will come online that's like, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, podcasts, fuck that. I don't care about any of that. I am going to make burlap sacks and sell them in the street like a hippie and do acid and stare at a blade of grass and fuck real people. And I'm not going to touch any of that. And if that happens, I will look at that generation like Ben Affleck to Matt Damon in Good Will Hunting, and I'll be like, you think I wanted you to fucking stay, kid? Every fucking day, the best part of my day is showing up at your door hoping that I'm going to knock and you're not going to fucking be there. Every day, I post a clip looking for likes, looking for shares. You think I want them? You think I want you online? I hope one day I post a clip and it gets 0 fucking views. Because you're not online anymore, kid. Because you're not online. Because you're out in the real world. You're touching grass. You're smoking grass. You're fucking ass. You're making burlap sacks for your neighbors. And you're playing hacky sack. And you're loving life. I hope that. Or, ideally, we can find some sort of moderation, which might be the actual key, is some sort of moderation. Because, like, again, the internet's fun. I like the content that I get. I enjoy that I get to come on here in a jumpsuit and make fun of Hilaria. Okay? But one day, I do think there's going to be a backlash. I think about this in terms of, I think this has happened. Here's a small example, and I haven't run the numbers. I'm not a doctor. Sports betting. I enjoy sports betting. It's fun. I've enjoyed it for a long time, but I really loved it when it was like there were a couple podcasts that I would listen to that would talk about it, and then my friends and I would get on a group chat, and we'd be like, dude, what are you betting on this? What do you got for this line? What do you got? And then you either had to, this is a little before my time, but a lot of people, you would call a guy, you'd have like a pencil and a newspaper, and you'd call a guy and you'd place your bets because it was illegal and it was fun. It was fun. Okay, I have a friend of my dad's will come over to the house and he will literally come, the Sunday night game will be on. He'll have his like fucking glasses and a newspaper and a pencil. He'll have brought it around with him all day. How fun is that? That's a tactile experience. And I'd have my friends, and we would chat, and it was only a few of us, and we would talk about spreads, and it was fun, and it was a culture. It was a culture because it was a subculture. And whenever gambling things would come up, I would be like, yes, legalize gambling. Of course, legalize gambling. You need to legalize. Like, why am I using this shitty website? Because I would travel and I would say, oh, I get to use FanDuel. Oh, I get to use this. I get to use that there. And then it's more fun. It's a better experience. And I was like, legalize it. And now it's so everywhere that you have to start looking at like, oh, this is obviously insane. Like, this is like no one is winning money. And the second you actually start winning money, they shut you off. And now that it's integrated with the leagues, now that ESPN itself, who used to not even be able to talk about gambling, now has its own fucking sports book, it's just kind of annoying because now it's like, you know, if you had to seek out like weed because the cool kid had it at school, you're like, oh shit, oh fuck, that's kind of sick. If everyone was trying to give you weed, it's not cool anymore. The same thing has happened with weed a little bit. Like, again, I'm glad people aren't going to jail for weed and sports gambling, or they shouldn't, in my opinion. But the fact that it's been proliferated and it's a huge part of the culture, it makes it kind of like, You start looking at the downsides. Once every time you turn on the TV, it's like, bet this, bet that, bet that, bet this. At the parlay, here we are at the Parlay Dome for the Super Bowl. You're like, why are you trying to push this so much? It'd be like if I went home from school, my parents are like, don't you want to smoke weed? Don't you want to smoke weed? Weed's cool. Weed's cool. Isn't that like, wait a second. Weed might not be cool. Doesn't it kind of like lower your testosterone or fuck with your sleep cycles? Or maybe like it can start, you start having that. Like weed used to be because it was illegal, it was cool, it was a culture. There are entire people who wear long shorts and flat brim hats, who made 420 a lifestyle. It was a movement. It was a power to fight, and we all want a power to fight. Of course we want a power to fight. It was an entire identity. You could be white and start a reggae band and just say weed should be legal, free my people. That was your you're basically Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X all at once. It was a reason to have something, to believe in something. And sports gambling was kind of the same. It was like, oh, we're fun. We know what the actual sports are. What do I want to watch someone on TV be like, oh, I pick Duke to beat fucking NC State. Yeah, no shit, they're a better team. Pick against the spread, you bitch. That is sports analysis. So I am glad that it's actually in the telecast a little bit, because you need to discuss the spreads if you want to discuss how the games are actually going. So, of course, it's a complex topic. It shouldn't be fully illegal, but like it's too much everywhere. And when it's too much everywhere, I found myself being like, I don't really want to do it as much anymore, because of course I'm not winning. No one's winning. I've never walked into someone's nice house. Oh, how'd you get this? Oh, I'm good at sports gambling. Are you? It's not true. No one's fucking good at gambling. That's why there's diamond chandeliers in Vegas. I've probably said this before. And I think that at some point, technology will get this way. I could be wrong, because it keeps getting further and further down the rabbit hole. I mean, we went from like, okay, everything's becoming shorter and shorter form content. Okay, TikTok, so many TikToks, but now it's also really popular to be a streamer, and your favorite streamer is just online, keeping you company 8 hours a day, 9, 10 hours a day. Should I change this to a streaming show? Probably, if I ever want to make money. But I do think that once anything starts really beating down the door too much, eventually people will, there is a natural human tendency to revert back to that which is healthy. There is a guiding light within you that tells you when you're doing something too much, if you should be doing it less. We all have it. It exists. Sometimes you can get further away from it. Sometimes you can be closer to it. It's there. You can listen to it. Some people call it God. Some people call it spirituality. Some people call it intuition, karma. You can call it whatever the fuck you want. You know it's there. And I think that everyone has it, whether or not they're capable of listening to it. So that's why, as much as I talk about depressing things on here as regards to the future of humanity, politics, whatever, I never fully have too horrible of an overall view for humanity, because I do think for a lot of people, life is good now, and I think that that could continue. Are there problems? Sure. But are there solutions? For some of them. All right, folks. Real quick, come out and see me live. JoeyAvery.com/live. Tons of tour dates coming up. We got Indianapolis this weekend. I have no idea if anybody is there. who is a fan of me or this show. So if you are, please come on out. Indianapolis, Rosemont, Illinois, Chicago, Illinois, Pottstown, Pennsylvania, East Providence, Rhode Island, Bangor, Maine, Portland, Maine, Raleigh, North Carolina, Dallas, Texas, Sacramento, California, San Francisco, California. Will we be filming something special there that weekend? Ooh, we might be. St. Petersburg, Florida, Levittown, New York, that is in Long Island, Charlotte, North Carolina, San Diego, unannounced DC, and some others, but coming out, see me live. Shop the merch collection, and let's go ahead and get on back to the show. All right, want to come back? Yeah, let's continue that positive note here with a great, fun, personal, real life out there in the wild. You ain't going to find this on the internet story. Sometimes you got to go out and get fucked up. Now, the computer says I shouldn't drink alcohol, but the computer's a fucking pussy, and it doesn't have my best interest in mind. It's only thinking about that abdomen, okay? I'm still a fun person. I like to have a good time. I'm sorry, sue me. You can't, much like Trump, I impeach the judges. I went out Wednesday night. A friend of mine was in town, and you know when a friend's in town, it just fucks your week up because you're like, well, I was going to be healthy all these days, blah, 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 but then you're like, well, what am I going to not go out to omakase with the boys? Go out, get some sushi, friends, go out, check out a couple local bars, have a mix, doing what I do, having 4 different types of cocktails and 4 different drinks and then wondering why I feel weird. And it was a really nice time. It was a lovely time. And at the end of it, we're like, you know what? Fuck. You know when you eat sushi and then you go out and then you're like, well, probably going to need a little more for the stomach than fish and alcohol. I don't want to wake up feeling like a Swede with just a bunch of pickled fish in my stomach. So hey, we're in New York. We go get a slice. Thought we'd go get a slice. We go to a spot, my favorite spot, not the spot near me that everyone says is the best pizza in New York, but my spot is not going to tell you because I don't want crazy long lines. We go to the spot. Me and my 2 friends, we walk in, and we just see an old man. An old man with wispy white hair and knowing eyes. A man who looks like he's read some books, written some books, maybe played the flute at one point in time, but, didn't want to be annoying about it, but just kind of picked it up. Probably knows his way around. And he just looked like a man of culture, a man of thought, a man of vibe. Sitting there, looking like he lived through some stuff, and he sees us, kind of scrawny jeans, blazer, professorial look, and he just turns to us and he just says, well, the finest hour of the night, pizza time. And that sort of feeling, that sort of vibe, it's hard to even encapsulate. Not that profound, not that unbelievable. We walk in, a man sitting alone at a bar who knew exactly what we were thinking, who welcomed us to something, who added a bit of hype, a bit of joy, a bit of fun, okay? Who added some culture and depth to the late night pizza in New York City. Something in the water that we were about to have. It was a beautiful experience. Now we sit and we're chatting with the people there. We're chatting with him. Something that only happens when you're boozed up. Like, boozed up or just like 10 hours of sleep on a great mood. A lot of times you go in, it's a transaction, you get it, oh, that was good. But like we walked in, you got a couple drinks in you, and it's like, you get a couple drinks in you, and the entire world becomes the Olive Garden. It's just, hey, when you're here, you're family. You'll talk to anybody. You could high five a hobo, okay? You could be chitter-chattering with a cop on the subway. You just, all of a sudden, everyone becomes a potential friend. Of course, too much alcohol, they can become a potential foe. But that can also happen at the Olive Garden. Someone takes one of your unlimited breadsticks, you start beating them over the head. Okay, maybe when you're here, your family, you're having a fight with the uncle. Sometimes families don't get along. That's okay. That's not the Olive Garden's fault. They just provided the venue. But sometimes you have a little bit of booze. It's like, hey, everybody's in. We're all in. We became a family in that pizza shop that night. Me, my 2 drunk friends, the people closing up the shop. They said, hey, take these for free. I said, what? It's not like I'm out here, It's not like I'm out here with double D's. Like, yeah, no, like they just were like, hey, we were pretty much done for the night. You go ahead and you take these for free. And we were like, what? You know what we said? We said, we're going to pay you anyway. Tipped them out fat. It was a great interaction. They got a fat tip. We got free pizza. Okay. And then this old man gets to sit there and just enjoy the entire experience. And we're standing there, and he finishes his drink, and he kind of heads off, and he walks, and we've all had this nice experience together, and he gets to the door. He's got his little box. He's got pizza with him. He's all about the za. He knows what tonight's about. It's about pizza, and that's what we're doing. He grabs the pizza, and he turns, and he looks back, and he sees all of us. He smiles, glint in his eye, and he just says, "Pizza at a fine price." And then he walked 3 steps out into the New York night, and I assume dissolved and became a part of the city itself. It was a beautiful experience. I've been thinking about it all week. That's the experience you want. You brighten someone's day, okay? And one of the other thought that I had about it is, it's also nice to operate off of limited information on someone. We know too much about everybody all the time. I know too much about Alec Baldwin. Sometimes you just want to watch Glengarry again. You don't want to see you don't want to know everything. You don't want to know the ins and outs of absolutely everything. I'm glad I don't know anything about this guy. Look, I could assume horrible things. What if the reason he's there is he's estranged from his family because he was an absent father, because he was off playing the flute, because he was off writing books, doing whatever? Probably not. I think he's a beautiful man, but I don't need to know any of that, because as far as I'm concerned, he is New York City itself. Pizza at a fine price. And that's a good way to live your life. Now, we talked a little bit about sports gambling. I would be remiss if I didn't mention that March Madness is coming up, and an exciting March Madness it is. I've covered on here when we talked college football that I am a Michigan fan. Now, I am in trouble here because I'm a Michigan fan usually. But this year, in its first year of eligibility for the March Madness tournament, a college that has had so little to do with sports, they almost got rid of them. A school that is more known for engineering than baseball, basketball, that at one point only had a good water polo team. My alma mater, UC San Diego, the Tritons, shock 'em. This is what we did. We went on campus. We said, shock 'em, Tritons. We made foam fingers that had the shock 'em. 2 in the pink, 1 in the stink, to mimic the Triton pitchfork, but also to mimic sex, an act that almost no one at UC San Diego engaged in during my tenure, because we were the nerdiest school. Just kidding. Everybody fucks, especially in San Diego. Is in the March Madness tournament against the Michigan Wolverines. I believe that game will air at the evening that this show is released. And I, as someone who went to a college that never had sports, that never got to feel college sports joy, it's a different feeling. I'm watching the UCSD. Now, mind you, I got cut from the UCSD baseball team. I'm watching the UCSD basketball team going, do I buy a jersey? Like, I'm watching guys, I would say dunk, but at our level, we're a lot of layups. And I'm going, that's me. That's me out there. That is mine. That is my school. The amount of money that was paid to that university, it is my fucking school. I do deserve that. So I will have to be rooting for UCSD versus the University of Michigan. Of course, Michigan, my team, because of my grandpa, it's in absence of having gone to a school, having needed anything. And of course, Michigan football, go blue. There's never going to be a Triton team. But it's all Tritons, baby. Shock them. Shock them. That's what we did. The shocker. The teachers were like, oh, yeah, that's fun. Shock them. We're going, isn't that right, professor? I got 2 for you. I got 2 and 1 for you. So let's hope for a deep run from the UC San Diego Tritons. Now, that does bring us to another story out of Michigan athletics, which is a baseball player had a little bit of a slide here. a baseball player for the University of Michigan, slid into third base and did, let's say a celebration that Robin Williams would have appreciated, given his baseball joke. If you don't recall it, let's take a peek here at the celebration. That's a line snort there, folks. That is a line snort. He is snorting the third base line. That is a reference to cocaine. Now, looking at this man, his physique and the prevalence of fentanyl, I don't imagine this D1 ball player is doing a lot of cocaine. Let's call that an homage to Scarface. And let's call that baseball being fun. Now, this, as it always does in sports, led to a lot of histrionics, people, bitching and moaning online, saying, oh, sure, a bunch of kids are going to have questions about this one. You're going to need to apologize to the kids for that one. Just no place for this in the game. All this sort of stuff. The player's apology here. I would like to apologize for my actions on third base yesterday. I made an immature decision in the heat of the moment. The gesture I made does not reflect my character, the household I was raised in, or the block M that I represent in any kind of way. I take full responsibility for what I did, and I am truly sorry to all of those who I have negatively impacted by doing this. One of the concerned parents here weighs in on X. My male 22 son, 10-year-old male, saw your celebration and immediately asked me what cocaine is and if we know where to get some blow. I hope you realize that now he is addicted to fentanyl. Well done setting an example for young ball players. Obviously, a little tongue-in-cheek there, having fun with it. Guys, there's a lot here. College baseball needs viewership. Baseball needs to be fun. I realize that this guy has to apologize for that. He's an NCAA athlete and blah, 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 blah. Come on. I mean, it's just, come on. Is mimicking jerking off meaning that you're coming? What exactly are we upset about? We can pretend it's for the children, but a lot of times people just want to get mad at something. Now, I played baseball. If you didn't play baseball, there's something about baseball that is really hard to describe. Sports in general have a, locker rooms, male sports have kind of you get some hyper masculinity. It's guys competing all the time. It's a culture, a subculture of dudes. And when a bunch of dudes get together, sometimes the vernacular, the tone of conversation, it can get a little chippy. It can get a little blue. It can get sexual. There can be drug. These are just things I know that it's a hard thing to believe that happens in locker rooms, but it does happen. It does happen. Now, on top of that, in baseball, what baseball has is a lot of down time. You're sitting there, even when you're playing, you're kind of just hanging out. That's why guys are chewing tobacco. They're chewing gum. They got sunflower seeds. They're sitting there. All right, two down. Come on now, whip it around now. What they're saying, they're speaking in cadences that no one speaks in. They're filling time. They're basically like country bumpkins because they're just sitting out in the field all day looking for a little moment of excitement. Okay, and when that happens, crazy shit happens. You start getting wild. We had something, I remember the brief stint of time that I was on the UC San Diego baseball team. This is tryouts. I was basically there for a couple months. We had something called kangaroo court. And what would happen is the older guys would like sit there and they would hold court in front of the entire team, and like coaches are all gone. This is just players. This is just bonding time. And what they would do is they would tell party stories of ridiculous shit that the guys did while partying in the weekend. And then the court would determine a fine for them. And that could be money. The money would go into a jar for the next party that we would throw to create more of these stories. It was an efficient economy. And these fines, they would just go towards beer. So we could throw another big party, create more of these stories. I remember one of the stories, one of the guys there, he, college is a lovely time. It's all about sex. And one of the guys there, he was like, we threw a party and I was in bed with one of the girls, and then the other guy, he was so drunk in his room, and he was with a girl in his room, that he got up. He thought he walked into the bathroom. He grabbed the dude's office chair, spun it around, urinated into the office chair as if it was a toilet, and then hopped nude into bed with him and the other girl. This became a big kangaroo court. Could it? I mean, look, conspiracies are everywhere. We're on the internet. Could that be cover for the devil's threesome? Of course it could. But either way, that's the point. This is the type of dialogue that's going on during the downtime. Okay, the boys party. The boys get after it in the off time, all right? This dude hit a triple. I'm assuming. That's how he got to third base. Hard to get to third base. This dude hit a triple. The most exciting play in baseball. He's fired up. You're running from the batter's box all the way to third. You are full of piss and vinegar. You are fired up. You hit a little Scarface. Woo, that's just saying, I'm a bad man. I'm a bad man. That's not going to get kids addicted to blow. Baseball and blow would actually mix really well, as I was just thinking about it. But you'd be chattering a lot out there in the field. It's a pretty slow game to be on coke, but stimulants were important during the 80s in baseball. Greenies, basically Adderall, amphetamines. Darryl Strawberry did cocaine. So it is part of the game. Baseball players should do coke. That's what people aren't understanding. These baseball players have been subjected to boredom for too long a time. These boys need to get fired. These boys need to get out there. He's a visionary. He's a hero. He's a fighter. He's a guy doing a fun celebration, the most obvious celebration of all time. Okay? And I also believe in this. He didn't buy that line. He didn't go out there and source that line. The line was placed in front of him. What is he supposed to do? He has a little toot. Little rootin' tootin' up the nose there. Little look at the Irish. I think that this guy, like, people are then in his comments, everyone's joking about, like, come on, it's society. Everyone knows everything. What are we even pretending anymore? It's stupid to actually be outraged. People are mad at him for apologizing. This is one of those situations. He has to apologize, but he shouldn't feel bad. Okay? He has to apologize, but he shouldn't feel bad. This is much like what we were witnessing with Alec Baldwin earlier in the episode. His wife's being an absolute menace. He apologizes. He's trying to make it better. He has to apologize, but he shouldn't feel bad. That's okay. You're okay. Now, on the topic of people who apologize and should feel bad, oh boy, we've done a long episode. You know what? Let's just keep it rolling. On the topic of people who apologize and should feel bad, I watched the Ruby Franke documentary. If you're not familiar with Ruby Franke, she, mom vlogger, had a show called 8 Passengers on YouTube, and that YouTube was very, very popular for a long time. She was kind of a mommy goals. She was a momfluencer. They were a family vlogging channel. They got super famous. The kids got famous. They were all making money. They were Mormon. It was all about God. It was God's will. It was them spreading God's message. It was love. It was light. It was fun. And then, like any vlog, it started to turn. She started to turn. She basically got canceled because people realized how strict she was being with the kids. She, at one point, her son was being bad, so she took his room away, and then she went directly into the camera, no irony in her soul, saying like, well, when we take things away, we don't just give them back. You have to earn them, because if we give them back right away, how do we know you really have improved? And the son was like, yeah, I have been sleeping on a beanbag, and I'm not talking about Alec Baldwin's wife, for 8 months, 6 months, whatever it was, however many months. And people freaked out. And they're like, whoa, this is no way to parent. Now, Ruby did what a lot of people in the public eye do. She got canceled. She didn't like it. When you get canceled and you don't like it, there are a few things you can do. You can either apologize, bend the knee to the woke mob, okay? or you can double down on exactly what you were doing and learn absolutely nothing about why people might have been mad at you. She doubles down. She says, oh yeah, well, you're Satan, and I am going to double down on my parenting because you don't know shit about parenting, and I'm going to power through, and I'm not going to let the woke fucking mob, these blue-haired, godless fucking libtards, I'm not going to let them tell me how to parent. She pairs this up with an absolutely hideous bulldog piece of shit of a woman named Judy Hildebrand or something. I honestly don't know, and I don't want to look at my computer. She pairs up with this pit bull of a lady, and this lady, her whole thing is like, men are the problem. Men are the problem. Men are pieces of shit. She's got a Hilaria Baldwin approach, which is why, of course, we here at The Joey Show are starting the Hilaria Baldwin Shelter for Battered Men. Any men from this Ruby Franke documentary are welcome to join. Now, this lady hops in and she starts using Mormonism to basically tell men that they are living in sin and they've done everything wrong and they're full of lust, and every man is full of lust, and every man is just basically a rocket full of cum waiting to spray, and that they are the problem and they are the reason that they're blocking blessings from your life, and you ladies are the real warriors, and all these ladies look like they've been slowly melted candles. I mean, they are not a good-looking bunch, and that's fine. I don't care, but don't come at the boys, okay? Don't commit the high-protein Mormon boys right now, okay? With your cankles. And that's fine. And again, we don't shame, okay? I think everyone's beautiful. But if you're telling other people that they're living in sin, you open yourself up, and then we come hard. Then we come hard, we come fast. We are full of lust. We are cum rockets, and we will spray you, you fucking crazy Mormon twat. Again, with all due respect. When you hear the end of the story, you'll understand why I'm being so curt. So these fucking twats, okay? So they start taking over, and they're getting all the ladies involved. And it's nice to hear some of that. It's nice to hear some of that. Hey, I didn't know it was all someone else's fault. That's nice. That's nice. He was like, hey, it's all their fault. It's all their fault. Come on, ladies. It's all their fault. So they start taking over for everybody. Now, this lady, Judy Hildebrand, starts, Ruby's nuts, right? And one of the things you take away from this documentary, and peace and love and respect to all Mormons, is that you could tell them just about anything. You could tell them just about anything. It's kind of insane, honestly, because they're well-meaning. They're good soldiers. I'm going to be honest with you. You can just tell them, and they'll be like, holy shit, that's right. God did want me to do this. You could convince them that taking communion comes straight from your cock, and they'll suck it every day. Now, of course, that's a sin, and shout out to, if you're a Mormon listener, shout out. And not everyone is this way, but when you watch this doc, you go, well, that was a ripe batch for the old picking. But again, we do support family and community and all sorts of things. We love everyone here at the Joey Show. We're not Sean Gardini coming out here the things he said. So anyway, they're convincing everybody to join this thing, and Ruby starts becoming more and more convinced of herself. She starts believing that Judy, who uses all sorts of fake lesbian witchcraft, which is, FLW. She's using FLW. She's got the fake lesbian witchcraft going, and she's saying like, oh, I'm struggling, I'm possessed. Okay, and she basically, she's Mormon, but it becomes very obvious that she and Ruby end up having a romantic relationship. Is it sexual? I don't know. Do they just massage each other with oils? I don't know. No one knows. But they're definitely rubbing each other. They move into the same bedroom together. They're rubbing each other with oils. This lady thinks she's possessed. She's got a demon inside of her, and then she'll use fake voices that, I'm coming for her. And then Ruby be like, oh my God, we got to help her. So they move this lady into the house. Ruby starts believing this lady is demons are getting closer and closer because the rapture is closer, because they are hot on the scent, because her initial goal that spreading the life of Christianity, or a Christian family and spreading Mormon values with this vlog, it got all this attention, but then the demon got jealous and started saying, don't punish your kids too hard. She's like, the demon's getting closer. Now we got to work harder to eradicate the demon. And this lady, Judy, who actually just wants to get her mitts up inside my box, is possessed by the devil, and she's getting close to that. I need to hold her. I need to massage her. I need to let her live in my house. And she's also talking to the kids every day saying, you're full of shit. You jerked off. And the guy, the son admits to, like, I watched porn one time and I kissed a lady, and Ruby's like, get the fuck out of the house. And she makes the husband move out of the house. And the guys are just doing it because they're dumb and they're mormed up, and they're just like, whatever you say, she's the one. She gets it. We got to do this. God's testing me. You can tell anybody to do anything if you think God's testing them. God's not testing them. You're being a bitch. And it gets, and that's all, honestly, that part's all fun. I enjoyed all that. I was having a good time with the doc. I was like, yeehaw, this is good. This is good content. Because as I mentioned when I discussed Gabby Petito, there's nothing better than vlogger content, because you see everything. And then when they get their hands on the cuts, you get to see her being like, I had a lovely day arts and crafting with my kids. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. If I have to come over there one more time, I am going to take the heads of all your dolls and cut them off and have a seance and make the dogs fuck them. Is that what you want? Is that what you fucking want? Thank you. So as I've said, one of my favorite things about being a parent is getting to cook beautiful meals for my family. And I get to cook and provide, and I just love to be, will you shut the fuck up? And it's so much of that, and it's so interesting. I like when people are on camera and they show us who they really are. Thank you, Hilaria Baldwin. I like this. It's horrible, but it's real. It's a vision. It's an insight. It's a, ugh. Now, that part's fun. Now, the end of this, not fun at all. What ends up happening is that she goes so far down this path of thinking that she's eradicating a demon that she and the crazy fake lesbian witchcraft lady, they start, the lady basically, per many people in the documentary, obviously doesn't want anyone to be happy. So when she sees sources of happiness, she eradicates that from their lives so that she can fill her own insatiable holes and need, and no pun intended. Well, it was. And that's what she does. So now Ruby is nuts. She thinks everything that is a negative reflection of her is just her being right and needing to fight harder against Satan. She has no accountability. She's a lunatic. And the fake lesbian witchcraft lady is just like, yes, do it. Also massage my booty. And then what ends up happening is the two youngest kids in the family, they like literally torture them, and they like lock them in a house, and they make them prisoners, and they don't feed them, and they make them emaciated, and they give them wounds, and they salt those wounds, and they hurt them, and they make them do like horrible, like they're trying to beat the devil out of them. So they just like truly like insane levels of child. And that part's not as fun. So I would say watch most of the doc, and the end of it gets a little tough. Now, here's what and obviously feel bad for those kids. Here's what I think needs to happen. Now, it's a hard situation to remedy. No one feels good about it now. A lot of the kids are estranged. The husband, Kevin, fucking doormat of a gentleman, just cannot stop getting bowled over by his wife. The wife tells him to leave the family, and he's like, okay, whatever you. Like, you know the cuck seat in the hotels that sits there and watches the bed? Like, that was designed for Kevin, okay? What the fuck, Kevin? Figure it out. You got to be better. You're a dad. 8 kids. Be there for them. Kevin. Okay? That voodoo Mormon puss can't be that good. That's why guys had 9, 10 of them. You're better than this, Kevin. Not the point. Here's what needs to happen. Some of the kids are estranged. Obviously, child predators are involved, and Ruby is in jail. Fake lesbian witchcraft lady is in jail. They're in jail. That is good. And hopefully these kids who were born on vlogs can now live private lives. They need a private life. I think what's obvious is that family and content don't mix. And I say this to preview my family vlog turned reality show that launches in 10 years on Kill Me streaming services. Fame is a weird thing already. Creating content is stressful already. Adding that into a family is a recipe for disaster. And it took what would have been a 5% insane mom. She would have been a crazy mom. She would have. But she never would have become all this if she didn't mix her gullible personality with her fame, with her belief that she was performing God's duty with hell, basically, and then cancellation, and then just going against it. These are the things that can happen, and you subject kids to it. It's a horrible thing. This should never happen. She should never be able to family vlog again. No one should be able to family vlog. The daughter in the series is telling people no one should be able to family vlog, and she's right. But what we need as a society is a Ruby Franke prison vlog. It is what we need. I'm sorry. That is what we need. That is what everyone needs in this scenario. This family has lost revenue. People would watch this. Boom. That's money right there. We as a society, we feel this is horrible. Horrible things need to happen to her. We need to watch them. She should not be allowed to vlog with a family. She's a dangerous mother. How is she in prison? How does this mindset manifest in prison? She is a manipulative, conniving, fame-obsessed, popularity-obsessed, absolute, end-to-end, soup-to-nuts lunatic who thinks she's a prophet, and by the way, in a previous era, probably could have convinced people she was. She already got popularity in our era. You think she couldn't have written some scrolls? It's possible. Anything, you can get people to believe anything out there. We as a society do deserve that prison vlog, because I want to see what this bitch is up to in prison. I need to see it. I need to see it. I want to know what fake lesbian witchcraft lady is up to in prison. Can she trick people in there? What sort of in-prison things are happening in there? Okay, there are two things that I would be satisfied with in this scenario. One, a prison vlog featuring Ruby and Judy, I think was her name. I don't really know. Or two, we revisit my previous offer. Okay, and here's a deal that I am willing to make. I, as a large media figure with an important mouthpiece, with a direct pipeline into the will of the American people, with the wind of the 12 at my back, am willing to excuse some of the Trump administration's potential oversteps as regards to their legal justifications for the work they are doing with ICE. As long as they can do one more sweep that might be a little too broad, that might be a little too wide. Hilaria Baldwin, Ruby Franke, fake lesbian witchcraft lady, swept up into one slightly too broad ICE raid and sent to prison in El Salvador. CISO prison to be exact, under the guise of Mr. Bukele. I will allow this one more time so long as we can come up with a more firm legal footing and understanding with how we are going to do these deportations so that we can be sure that innocent people and potential people who do have citizenship status do not get sent to prison camps in other countries with no due process or ability to look into them. I am willing to make that trade. You get one more broad one, but you gotta rope in these three, and then after that, we need to make sure we know who's going and why. Because if they're gang members, that's fine. If they're not, let's be careful. And real quick, it looks like we actually have an email here to the email. This is a little advice. Hi there, my name is Jacob. I'm proudly one of the 12 and was looking to see if you have any thoughts or advice on my current situation. I'm currently a junior in college, won't say the college, and I am planning to graduate approximately 1 year from now. The only problem is I have no idea what I want to do in life. I'm on my 4th major, and I'm still not even sure if that's what I want to do. I've come to realize that I want the stability of a 9-to-5 job, but also want a job that I can be creative and do my own things. I know my job straight out of college won't be my forever job, but I don't really know where to start. I'm coming to you because I know you've sort of done both, being that you started in sales and now you're a comedian. I'd love to hear your thoughts and my advice on what I should do. Love the show and would love to come see you live. Jacob, that is a very common question. You're not alone. You're not lost. You're normal. What I recommend, you want money, you want to be creative, start an OnlyFans, jam a cucumber in that ass, and have a crank. I'm obviously kidding. Look, 4 majors is insane. And so my advice to you on that, if you really like the one that you're in, then you found something. But the fact that you're emailing me implies that you have not. So based on that limited amount of information, I would say when you get out of college, don't do exactly what you did with your majors. And when you pick something, stick it out. A lot of jobs start with very shitty, long, arduous processes, and your first job is probably going to suck at pretty much anything you do. It could be marketing, it could be sales, it could be finance. It could be the restaurant business, serving, but you want to work your way up to a bartender or a chef or whatever the fuck. Your first job is going to suck. So whatever you do, you're going to have to eat shit. And while you're eating shit, don't worry about the fact that you're eating shit. It's part of the process. Now, on the part that you mentioned with being creative, I knew that I wanted to do comedy, but I knew that it was going to take a really long time. So I got jobs doing things that I didn't want to do for a long period of time. Recruiting, sales, and then a marketing job, but it was a more content-based, fun marketing job that got me closer to some of the skill sets for comedy. So if you have something that you want to do, I would say pursue that, but that's going to take time, so get a job in the meantime. I didn't feel great about recruiting when I first got out of college. I had a bit of a crisis doing it, and that's kind of normal. So ultimately, I can't tell you what to do, but I would say if you have interests that lay in fields that are not going to yield you money, that's fine. You have time to do that. Embrace the grind. Be willing to do it after work. And in the same breath, you should start by just getting whatever sort of good job that you can and make some money, which buys you time and gets you professional experience that may set you up for that career later on. The fact that I've had a job allowed me more financial flexibility to take gigs I wouldn't have gotten to take comedy-wise. It allowed me to buy the equipment that I'm using to produce this show, and doing comedy while having a job, a sales job at the time, is what actually allowed me to get a job in marketing, which I had no experience in, and allowed me to work during the many fun years that I worked for Chubby's and got to make podcasts, which is also how I learned how to do this, and sketches and things like that. So ultimately, don't think that you have to have it all figured out. Just know that you're going to eat shit for a while, and that's fine. And especially if you find that creative passion, do that in your free time while you're actually making money and building some skills and a bit of a resume, because all of those things will help. And if it feels shitty at first, don't worry. That's really fucking normal. Very few people that I knew what they were actually going to be doing when they got out of college. And some of the people who knew what they were doing when they were in college have completely switched careers 3 or 4 times. Graduating college doesn't mean you're an adult or you need to have it all figured out. It just means it's time to get a fucking job, okay? And you can pivot a lot of times over your life. But the main thing to do is take action and stick through it, and you will be surprised at where it goes. A family friend of mine, said something that I'll never forget. He said, life is like a river. Sometimes he's like, exactly where you're going and it feels like you're swimming. And other times all you can do is just bob your feet and keep your head above water and let the river go, but it'll take you where you need to go. So jump in with both feet, my friend, and best of luck. All right, there it is. That was the only advice, and I realized I hadn't checked the email, so that was from December. So if you want any more of that, we'll stick it at the end of episodes. Otherwise, thank you for listening to The Joey Show. I've been Joey Avery. Good night. Thank God I have a podcast.